presentation, I took a verse from the 17th chapter. The 17th chapter in the Gita is called Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yogo Nama Saptadashodhyaya. In this chapter, Krishna talks about Shraddha. There is no exact word for Shraddha in English. The closest we come is faith. So he talks about the various types of faith. Faith is what we hold in our hearts. It's the core of each person. And it is the sum of all the values that we have held in the past and do hold now. So it's not an exaggeration if we say we are made up of our faith. Faith influences all aspects of our lives. It influences our, starting from our food to interactions, societal interactions, to our mental makeup, to psychological behavior, to finally our spiritual evolution. There is no aspect of our life that is not touched by the faith we carry in our heart. Faith, according to Krishna in the Gita, in the Bhagavad Gita, there are three main types of faith. And they are sattvic faith, rajasic faith, and then tamasic faith. Sattvic faith is that faith which is the most evolved type of faith. It is represented by the color white. And it's based on peace, based on love. It leads to purity of mind, motivates giving, doing good for others, for the society. So it promotes selflessness. The second type of faith is called rajasic type of faith. This is more based on self-centered type of faith. It is represented by the color red, and it is based on emotion, based on passion, and it's driven by ambition, very creative, and mostly desire-based, insatiable desire connecting with the world. And it is associated also with restlessness. The third type of faith is called tamasic faith, and this is based on ignorance. So there is a lot of thoughtlessness, carelessness, heedlessness, and may lead to harm. When one has this type of faith, it can lead one to harm oneself or hurt others. Addictions or gambling, those type of activities are based on tamasic type of faith. And there can also be association of dullness, laziness, those type of things. And most of the time we are really combination of these three type of faiths, and depends from time to time. We go back and forth. And these three faiths, Krishna says, affect all aspects of our lives. And he discusses mainly 4 categories in this chapter. One is food, next is yajna, worship, third is tapas, and fourth is charity. So when it affects food, it depends on the type of foods the faith affects the type of foods we eat, whether they are nutritious and helpful, or if they are damaging to us right now or in the future. All those aspects he discusses. And then he discusses about worship, How do we worship? Are we serving people? Are we serving the society? Are we doing it as a service to God? The third area he discusses is about tapas, austerity. Are we disciplining ourselves in our body, in our word, in our mind? And finally, he discusses about charity, how charity is affected, the way we do charity is affected by the faith we carry. Are we giving instead of taking, hoarding from the society? The word that we use in Sanskrit is dana. Charity is represented by the word dana. Interestingly, the Latin word for dana is donam. You know, it's very interesting that even Latin also has the same or similar word. And dana is such an important word, deed, aspect, area that almost all religions cover about dana. It is a very important aspect of any religion. And the oldest scripture, oldest piece of literature that we have in the world is Rig Veda. Rig Veda talks about dana also. It's that important that it has been discussed from those times on. Why is dana so important? Because dana expands our hearts. Dana increases our compassion. Dana helps us to improve our attitude for service and helps us to be less attached to the world, to be able to give more and not so worry about ourselves. In other words, it facilitates karma yoga, daiva arpana buddhi, meaning serving the community. Presentation. So in other words, dana helps us to live a life of service to the community, offering to God. So that's how important dana is. Even in the Puranas, one of the Puranas, Skanda Purana, talks about dana, and it encourages tithing 10%. Imagine that, long time ago. 10% of what we earn in a rightful way, not in a wrongful way, following dharmic way, we should be offering back to the society. At least 10% is what Skanda Purana recommends. And even the Itihasas, Bharat talks a lot about, Mahabharata talks a lot about giving back. Always be ready to give back, and give back without expecting any thanks, any reward back for yourself. So all the scriptures, important scriptures that we have, the Vedas, the Puranas, the Itihasas, all recommend dana. One of my good friends, Dr. Pandya, who used to live here, she used to say, Rama, not all money we earn is ours. Almost, every dollar we earn, part of it goes for, mundane type of things, maintaining the house. Part of it goes for our family, inheritance. But part of it goes for supporting the community, giving back to the community, because we are so blessed. She used to always say that to me. So giving is so important. And what is the highest form, the best way to give? To illustrate that point, I picked this verse from the 17th chapter, 20th verse. And 17th chapter, just like the 11th chapter, is a very melodious chapter. The verses are so melodious. So I'll read it out to you. Datavyamiti yadanam diyate nupakarine deshe kale cha patre cha taddanam satvikam smrutam. Krishna says that charity, that type of giving, that service which is given out of sheer sense of duty, without expecting anything in return, and given to a worthy person at a proper place, proper time, that is said to be sattvic. So he defines how it should be given. First of all, we should expect nothing back, given to the right person, right place, right time. So he really delineates all those details. So Datavyam is giving with an attitude of, it's my duty, this is my honor, this is my privilege. Okay, Karma Yoga principle. Any particular situation that calls for giving, we should be giving. Be ready, can't wait to give, should be the attitude Krishna talks about. Why is giving so important? Why does Krishna talk about giving back more so much? In the 3rd chapter, 12th verse, he says, Tair datta napradayabhyo yo bhunte stena eva saha. He says, he who enjoys gifts, the blessings that are given to him from the society, from this world, without offering his share back, is surely a thief. That's how it is. We are so blessed, we get so much from the society. We should just not be taking. You know, we should be giving back, contribute, not just keep consuming from the society. That's how important it is, Krishna says. Because giving is serving God. Manava Seva, Madhava Seva. You know, you heard that. Serving people, the world is serving God. In fact, it is so important to serve back, to give back. In the 18th chapter, when he is summarizing what all he has taught us, 67th verse, he says, Nachash Shrushave, means my teaching is not for somebody who is not giving back to the society. A person who doesn't have this mental makeup of giving back is not going to be helped by my teachings, he says. You have to. That's how important it is, giving back. So he says you need to give back, be ready to give back, and give back in anupakarine, means expecting nothing back. Okay? Nothing back, first of all, in the future. Even if we are helping somebody who might be capable of giving us back, helping us back in the future, Krishna says, don't expect. If he helps us, she helps us, fine, but don't expect it. Okay? And if you're helping weak and meek type of people, they may not even be able to help you. But he also says, don't help somebody just because they helped you in the past. Doesn't mean you shouldn't help them, but that shouldn't be your criterion. Meaning you're not doing it just as like a give back type of thing or get back type of thing. You have to do it with no expectations. Otherwise, he says it's more like a business proposition. You do me this and I do this for you, which is not bad. You shouldn't not do that. Help each other out. But when you're giving, you shouldn't be expecting anything back, is what he talks about. And he defines this even more in the next verse. Yatta pratyupakarartham phalamuddishya vapunaha diyate cha pariklishtam taddanam rajasam smrutam. When you do this, you know, on the other hand, when you do the charity that is given for the sake of being helped in return, or reaping some type of results in the future, or done reluctantly, grudgingly, that is considered a rajasic type of giving, not sattvic type of giving, not the highest form. Pratyupakarartham means getting something in return, making the person who is receiving it feel obligated. And sometimes we may be expecting something back, not from the person whom we have helped, but we might be expecting some recognition in the society, some name and fame in the society, or it could be like I'm collecting all this punya so that I'm making room in heaven later on. He says, no, you're not supposed to be looking for any reward. That is the best way to give. And also when you give, he says, you cannot be a big-headed, make the other person, look down at the other person. And this is a very good principle to apply when we raise kids. The best gift we can give our kids is to not make them feel obligated, okay, in any fashion. If they come back and help us, fine, but the best gift we can give them is to release them of that obligation, not feel, not pressuring them in any which way. And all this giving, Krishna says, if we do it reluctantly, grudgingly, there are times peer pressure, people might do it just because the other one is doing, I have to do it type of thing. That's a Rajasic type of giving, not Sattvic type of giving. In addition to all this, Krishna also says we have to be very smart, very intelligent. We have to give it some thought about how we are giving. If we are not thoughtful, we are not planning well, then it can become tamasic. How would it become tamasic? He says, Adeshakale yaddanam apatrebhyascha diyate asatkrutam avagnatam tat tamasam udakrutam. He says, the charity which is given at an improper place and time to an unworthy person, without respect, with insult, that's called tamasic type of giving. Okay? Why is place important? Because many people who receive help might be very proud. They don't want to be embarrassed, okay, when we are helping. So we should be doing in a Gupta Dana, they say. The left hand should not know what the right hand is doing. Although sometimes it can be helpful, like when big people like Bill Gates and all do this philanthropy, it encourages, helps others to follow the path. But in general, we should be very cognizant of the feelings of the person who is getting help from us, and we should do it at the right place, not do it in the public, do it in a discreet fashion. There is one exception why we should do whatever we do in a very, very public way. And what is that? Mark Twain said he could live off one compliment, good compliment, for at least 1 year. People love to be praised. When we give compliments, we should be doing as publicly as possible, because people love to be validated. People love to be recognized in the public. So when we are giving that type of giving, do it in a public way, so others would also know what that person is receiving. So praise in the public. Now, time is very important. We should be making sure that we are giving in a timely fashion, like say blood donation, bone marrow donation, those type of things we should be doing in a timely fashion, though it would help the person that's receiving it. At the same time, we should also be cautious about not being overbearing. Because many people who need help may be able to figure it out and may be able to get themselves out of that situation, and may be too proud to receive help. So we should be standby. We should know the difference about when to butt in and when to not also. We should be very careful about that. And Krishna says, make sure you don't give it to an unworthy person. Like money, say for example, it's a very good resource and we have earned money with a lot of work and all that. We should be respectful of that. and we should make sure it's going to the right hand. For example, if money goes to a person who is a drug addict, okay, and that's not going to help that person, can only enable his or her addiction more. Or if it goes into a young person's hand who is not mature enough, doesn't know how to use that money, giving a young person too much money may not be very helpful. I was reading yesterday in the news how, if you remember Onassis, okay, Jackie Onassis' husband, his granddaughter who got a few billion, I believe, she's a young lady, now is in financial troubles. She got billions and she was too young and probably got into wrong ways. So we have to be careful about how we give, to whom we give. Rockefeller, who was a big philanthropist, he said that is a very important criterion he used. Do not make paupers of the people who have received the money, he said. And also make sure when you're helping somebody that they would be getting themselves out of that situation rather than perpetuating that situation and hurting them even more. He was very careful about how he gave out his money. He was probably one of the largest, if not the biggest, philanthropist in this country. So giving should not be causing harm to the other person, and also should not cause harm to us. We should be in a position to be able to give, take care of ourselves, take care of our family, and then some, and then give. Okay, so charity starts at home. And it should be done with great care and respect, not in a negligent way, or not in a throwing way, or disrespectful way, or insulting way, making the other person feel low. And when we give, we should feel good about giving. We should feel a sense of abundance. It's a state of mind type of thing, that we are giving and feeling good about ourselves. And also respect the person who is getting the service from us, because that giving is helping us be closer to the divinity. Am I making sense there? So when the person is receiving from us, that person is doing us a favor. We are not doing a favor to that person. So what does this all mean? Giving mean in day-to-day life. One simplest way to give could be volunteering. Volunteering is so big in this country. Okay, it's estimated over 60 million people participate in volunteering in this country, and it's over $170 billion worth of activity that goes on. And this is a beacon, to the world. And it can be many places we can volunteer: hospitals, nursing homes, non-profit organizations, neighborhood watch. There are so many areas, and we can be so creative. There are so many opportunities available online now to volunteer. Why is volunteering so important? Because it helps us to be active, meet new people, develop new skills, and there is a lot of research to show that volunteers have better health, psychological and physical health. So it is very important to give back. And there are many types that we have, and it doesn't have to be just money. It can be time, as I was talking about. The other important aspect of giving can be listening. Listening can be one of the greatest gifts we can give people, without judging, without rushing, and without having to solve their problems. People may just want to just sit and vent and talk and, you know, get it off their chest type of things. And to be able to sit there and give them your whole attention without judgment, you know, making them feel light-hearted is one of the best gifts we can give to people. And also not interrupting people when we are in a group and somebody is talking about some glorious moment. It could be about their grandchild or their accomplishment or whatever. We don't have to budge in and talk about ours at the same time. Let them have glory, let them have their moment type of thing. And not interrupting people is one of the best gifts we can give also. But we are so eager, we want to talk. So kindness, giving attention. And Dalai Lama says, when we talk, we are only talking about what we know. When we sit and listen, maybe we learn something new. And he says that's why God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, to do less talking and more listening. So charity doesn't have to be giving big donations. It can be a kind word or a helping hand or a sweet smile. And it could be our skills. So many ways we can give. And Mother Teresa, we used to say, we cannot all do great things, but we can do small things with great care. You might have heard about Sudha Murthy. She is the wife of the founder of Infosys, one of the biggest tech companies in India, and a billionaire. And she's a very big philanthropist. And she says, philanthropy doesn't always mean giving money. Okay? It can become just compassion, being compassionate to somebody's difficulty, challenges, struggles, putting ourselves in their shoes. Another important aspect of giving is taking. Many a times when our friends or family want to give us something, we'll say, no, I don't want it, you know, or you don't have to do it. But it is their pleasure, you know. Taking is giving them pleasure, giving them an opportunity to feel good about what they are doing. So it's a very magnanimous thing to do, to take also. So many times it's not what we leave for people, but what we leave in their heart after the encounter they have with us. That is the most important thing that we need to take into consideration. Are we making them feel cared for? Okay? And in return, what do we get? The more love we give, the more love we get. The more peace we give, the more peace we get. It's a very interesting phenomenon. Most of the time when we're talking about material resources, the more we give, the less we have. The more money we give, the less money we have. But when it comes to giving from the heart, the more we give, the more we have. It is also true with knowledge, teaching. The more we give, the more we learn. Okay? So Krishna encourages us to think about this giving. It's like the taste of the food depends on what we put in it. The more we put in it, the more care we take, the better the food tastes. Many a time, our suffering is because of the fact that we talk too much to ourselves. Talk about things that we don't need to talk about. This chatterbox constantly goes on in the head, you know, about the past or about the future. And Krishna encourages in this chapter about how to control mind. And one of the things he says is keep that silent to avoid your suffering. Most of the time we are suffering because we are letting this mind chatter, you know, chat so much and talk about things that we don't need to be talking about to ourselves. So he says mauna, Develop Mauna. And how do we develop Mauna? There are a couple of ways, to first try not to talk to ourselves by keeping ourselves busy, learning new things. But more importantly, he says, by doing service. The more we are involved in others' lives, the more we are involved in giving, the mind becomes calmer, happier. Okay? So that is why dana is so important, to give back. So Krishna says, always be hungry to give. To give, give, give. To get everything, he says, give everything, all you have. But that doesn't mean you don't take care of yourself. Take care of yourself, but always give. I want to close with a saying from the prayer of Saint Francis. He says, for it is in the giving that we receive. That's how important giving is. And that's my presentation.